And we're back with another MI Tech TV. Today is April 22nd. Right, and our first guest is Skip Sims. Gosh, I've known Skip since I was back in my free press days in the 1990s. He was closely affiliated, I can talk today, with Ann Arbor Spark, and then, of course, with Michigan Angels. Welcome, Skip.
Thank you very much. Happy to be here.
Yes. And Skip now lives in Boyne Mountain. Is that where you're at?
That's right. Loving
I
it.
knew it was up there. Yeah. So I guess we ask our guests to provide talking points so that we know exactly what they want to talk about, and then Matt and I work out those points. And so, Skip, first one is, how do entrepreneurs find resources that help them start and grow? Or do they do that, Skip?
Well, they all know how to do internet searches. And so you just put in what you're looking for and all kinds of things pop up. In the state of Michigan, I think entrepreneurs are particularly blessed with the fact that there are so many resources out there. The SBTDC is a statewide organization, and the T stands for the tech. There's SBDC, and then they throw in the T for the handful of employees that focus on tech companies and startups. And they basically are all about free advice for helping you, build your business plan, et cetera, and strategies for moving the company forward, for moving your startup forward, and all the elements involved with having a business. Then you've got your whole Smart Zone network, and accelerators have just, I don't know, 10 years ago or so, just started to really pop up all over the place. And you've got 20 Fathoms as an accelerator, for example, up in Traverse City, that's not a smart zone, but does basically everything all the other smart zones do. They just don't have the benefit of the tax capture that the smart zones have for funding. Then, you've got your incubators that there are many around the state, all offering free mentoring and advice, although you pay a little bit of rent for the short term you may need to live there while you build your team, et cetera. So there's all kinds of resources. And the state has provided pre-seed funding for those that need a little bit more capital than some of these accelerators can provide in terms of building out your product. That's mostly, and then maybe building up your team initially a little bit too, and then getting to market. And they just issued $30 million worth of new pre-seed money across, I think, 5 different organizations around the state that are specifically supposed to, I don't know that they always do, but they're supposed to be funding these pre-seed stage companies as well as seed stage companies, and all in the tech space. And so there's that capital. That capital, however, unlike the other, would be dilutive in that those are notes or equity investments. And then, of course, the next stage up is the private market, and you're talking angel activity, private individuals investing in seed stage companies. And basically, you just, put in your search, angel groups in Michigan. Well, there ought to be a lot of links pop up there that will give you a link to their websites, and almost all their websites have a place to submit your business plan and your idea. And so, there's a rundown of all the various resources that an entrepreneur, particularly in the tech space in the state of Michigan, have available.
Yeah.
All right. So one of the things you mentioned to us earlier was the importance of milestones and what milestones entrepreneurs need to achieve for growth so they know what to ask for in the way of help. Talk about that a little bit if you could.
Sure. Milestone number 1 is having a product that works. So developing your product, it can still be beta. It still may need to be debugged, but it should still be a functioning product. So there's milestone number 1. Number 2 is have a partner. You can't do this alone. You really got to have help. And the bigger you want to be, the more help you're going to need. And so if you don't already have a partner, you need to find one with a skill set that you don't have that's complementary. Maybe you're an engineer. Well, then you need to go find a business guy or gal. You need to find two or three more partners, at the beginning, and start to develop that culture that you want to have in your company and your business as you grow. Milestone 3, I guess, and this not necessarily in rank order, but number 3 would be your customer discovery that Diane can speak eloquently about later. Making sure people will actually buy what you're making. Too many people think, I've got the solution for this problem that I see as a consumer. I'm going to make this product, and businesses will clamor to get it. That's you're dreaming. You need to call the people you think you're going to sell your product to and find out if, in fact, what you're building is really what they think they need, that it's a have to have, not a nice to have. And even if it's a nice to have, they're not necessarily going to buy it. And so make sure it's a product that they're going to buy. Because at the end of the day, I had a boss many, 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 many years ago tell me, and it stuck with me forever, nothing happens without a sale. If you can't sell that product, you have no business. And so get out there and make sure you got a product that people will pay for. And those are the key milestones.
All right. So one of the things you talked about already is team, but let's hit on that again. Like you say, everybody's good at something, but not good at everything. Who would be some of the key players? I don't mean like names or anything, but bringing in their skill sets. Again, if you're an engineer, right? So that's great. You've developed this idea, but then what sort of players should you bring in with you? You mentioned a business person, but a little bit more detail, perhaps.
Well, one of the founding members really needs to be that person who is not shy about knocking on doors, picking up the phone, calling potential customers, meeting with them, having coffee, meeting in their offices, whatever, to find out if they're building the right product, and who has kind of a sales background themselves and knows how to sell and what they need to develop in the way of a sales department, if you will, eventually. That needs to be someone on the core founding team, somebody who has that skill set. The other person you need on the team, and this could be part-time, two skill sets that could actually be part-time. One is someone who knows how to balance the books, someone who understands the need to keep track of income and expense each month and report that out and just to see how you're doing and that you're not overspending and that you're not getting too far out ahead of your skis, so to speak, in terms of what you're spending money on, and that you're spending money on the right things, and that you really do know how much money you've got to work with and how long that money's going to last. Even if it's coming out of your own personal bank account, there is a limit. A spouse at some point is going to come along and say, stop. So there's that person. You need a marketing person, someone who knows how to position the product to the marketplace, to help the salesperson close the sale, to actually create a pipeline of potential customers. And so that's a key person to have on your initial team. So, and then an HR person, and that's part-time too initially. I think entrepreneurs are they blow it off, or they're just ignorant that HR issues are a key element in a successful business. And the bigger you get, the more people you hire, the more revenue you start to generate, the more HR issues become meaningful. Because when I talk about HR, I'm also including in that area, along with your financial guy, taxes. I mean, how many entrepreneurs are totally kind of hit blindsided by, oh my God, I got to pay quarterly taxes, or oh my God, I got to pay Social Security taxes, as well as make sure that the income tax I'm withdrawing is paid, and those kinds of things. And those little, they seem little, they seem like things, oh, they'll take care of themselves, or whatever. Hey, they can't be ignored. And you need to know that up front, and you need to find somebody that can help you through that.
All right. Well, one of the bigger issues is money, of course, funding, finding funding to start a business. What kind of non-dilutive funding is out there?
Well, like I said, the accelerators, a lot of accelerators, smart zones around the state have money. SBIRs, the federal government's got tons of money. The complaint entrepreneurs often have about going after federal grants is the time it takes, whether you're talking to the DOD or NIH or pick an agency. The process for applying, the success rate's less than 50%. By the time you got approved and you get the money, it could be 6 months at best, oftentimes a year, assuming you hit that 40% that get approved. So that's non-dilutive. Any kind of grant funding you run across, find. And that's what you really need to be building the business on initially.
So
So,
our
oh,
SBIR and STTR grants still widely available? Is that what you're
Oh,
talking
yeah.
about mostly?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, the only issue, and we ran into this actually with one of the portfolio companies in our group recently, was when the government shuts down, those SBIs ours are shut down. Those agencies are
Certainly.
shut down from providing that funding. And we had a company that was in line to probably get an SBIR significant $1 million grant back in November. But because the government shutdown issues and funding for the government was then put on hold for 6 months, he had to wait 6 more months before that money got turned loose. So one of those things you don't really think about when things like that happen.
and then there's private money. When do you go for private money?
That should be your last resort because it's dilutive. And entrepreneurs need to get past that as well. A lot of entrepreneurs think, oh my God, I've got the sky is falling if I own less than 50% of the company. Over time, if you're a successful, high growth company, you're going to raise so much capital that you're probably going to have less than 50% of the company after 1 or 2 rounds of raising money. And at the end of the day, when it comes time and you're willing and you want to exit your business and sell your company, you may only own 10% of the business. So what? You sell it for enough money, you're still going to be pretty wealthy at the end of the day.
Sell it for 100 mil, you put 10 mil in your pocket, right?
There you go. There you go. So I think entrepreneurs need to get past that idea. But because private capital is dilutive, that's kind of the last capital you want to have to raise. You can go to the Michigan Angel Fund website, and there are a couple of links there. You can reach me through that website. It's www.miangelfund.com.